All right.
So just stay here.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Anthony Navarro, Colorado Shooting Sports. I started filming before she was ready to go. Try and catch her
I was
off guard.
fluffing my hair.
There we go. This is Kristin's, how do you pronounce the last name?
Zasada.
Zasada. When I think of that, I think like some Italian dude, big old thing of pizza, like Zasada.
I've heard that before.
So
Actually, check, but
she is running for
city council at large.
At large.
Of
What does that
Greeley.
large mean? That is it like boot, like dress barn? I'm sorry, we were talking about dress barn earlier. It just you. By the time you're done with your term, you
No, so has nothing to do with my clothing size. So Greeley is broken down into different wards. And then, so there's 4 wards kind of representing each section. And then there's at large representing everybody.
Everybody.
So
Awesome. So, what is the job description of a city council member? What are you guys going to be doing?
yeah. So probably the simplest way to explain it is it's the local equivalent of what our state or federal government does. So we're setting local laws, setting local sales tax rates. We have the final say on planning and development and zoning, so what do new neighborhoods look like?
Awesome.
That type of thing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, why are we not allowed to state party affiliation? I noticed that usually it's like Republican, Democrat.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the official answer for that at the local level. I would argue probably because people would argue issues like infrastructure and how our neighborhoods are developed isn't really a Republican or a Democratic issue. It's
Right.
supposed to be kind of a nonpartisan. You
I
won't
like it.
see issues that maybe you would see at the state or the federal level, at the local level. So
Awesome. This one actually came from one of our clients on our Facebook page. We threw it out there to ask some questions.
Yeah.
They said, do you support making Greeley a gun sanctuary city?
Okay. Again, this one's kind of hard because it's not something that City Council would necessarily have any jurisdiction over. That would probably be with the Sheriff's Department or with the Police Department. Now, a few months ago, the current City Council did a kind of symbolic statement that came out and said they do not, they oppose the red flag laws, which I would agree with. But I do support responsible gun ownership. Would the city be able to really do anything with that? Not necessarily.
Define responsible gun ownership.
Making sure that if you're using a gun that you know what you're doing, so maybe you're taking classes, that you're safe with it. If you have kids in the household, you're making sure you're keeping it locked up and you teach them at the appropriate age how to use it. So I think most people are that own guns. I think it's a bad stereotype.
Yeah, and this is where I'm a little different than most people. I don't think you should lock your guns up because when you go to lock your gun up, you're not going to be able to defend yourself. But if you have a bunch of guns and you're not, handling them all the time, you should probably have them in a safe place. But my daughter was literally around loaded guns from 6 months and on, and she is a hunter now. She's really safe with them, but it's exposure. The main thing she mentioned there is education. That's always been our biggest thing. So awesome on that.
See why you need education? He just schooled me on it. There you go.
And actually, I'm going to quote or go back to something that actually happened in Evans. It was the day after Christmas. A family had their house broken into, and they actually went kind of overboard on the safety. One safe, another safe, and they put their gun parts in both. They took them apart and split them up. They were held at gunpoint, robbed, and then I call it the slow speed chase, like the O.J. Simpson chase, but there was so much ice on the road that they were going full speed and only going 5 miles an hour, and they finally crashed near Fort Collins. But all of that could have been avoided had the homeowner had a gun that they could use.
Yep.
Another question for you. What makes you different from the other candidates?
I think one thing that makes me inherently different is the fact that I'm a young mom. I'm not running on the fact that I'm a woman because I personally don't care if you're man or woman. I care what your issues are, what you care about. But I think that's a different viewpoint. I grew up in Greeley almost my whole life, and so I've seen it change from when I was younger. And I just really want it to be a great place for my daughter to live and for everyone else to live.
Awesome. I really do like that statement because I've always chosen friendships, people I vote for, people I work with, companies I work with based on their qualities as a person, not their race or their gender. Yeah. And I think when we really focus on that, we're just letting some really ridiculous things happen. So I really like that. Question for you. Do you own a gun?
I do.
Awesome. That's going to be important for all those out there that are gun owners. And do you have a concealed weapon permit?
I do.
Sweet. You should get one.
See, take those classes.
Yeah, you should get one, not just to get one, but to be a viable part of a defense if that needs to happen, a useful part of your community.
Yeah. Yeah, my husband, he used to work in the oil and gas industry, and he was gone a lot, and it was me and my daughter at home, and I wanted to be able to defend myself and know what I was doing, so that was important to me.
That's awesome. And I like that because we are ultimately responsible for our own safety. The thing, I haven't met her husband yet, but I'm assuming that because he's a good provider and a good husband, what ends up happening with most women is they start to think, well, I don't need to get the gun. I don't need to learn this stuff because he'll protect me. But if you really look at the amount of time you spend with your spouse, it's probably pretty small.
Yep.
And she's got a little kiddo and herself to protect. So yay for her and her hubby for doing that. Awesome. Why do you want to hold this position? Because a lot of people that, I remember a couple years ago, somebody said, you should run for something. I'm like, why would I want to go through the scrutiny of all you people out there being a bunch of freaking jerks? I'm going to ask her the same thing. Why do you want to do this?
You're smarter than I am. I always tell people first, because I'm crazy, obviously. You know, I've always been very involved with my community. I've been on 3 different city boards and commissions for 8 years. I've been involved with Chamber of Commerce, the Greeley Area Realtors Association, High Plains Library District. It's just something I've always done, and I felt like you can not like things and you can complain about it but do nothing. Yeah. Or you can not like things and you can actually do something about it. And I fall in the second category, and I just look at our state politics and I just think, you know what, I'm in the camp of doing something.
Awesome.
So, there we
I
go.
like that answer. Be of service to people. Be of service to people you don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
So here's kind of a long question I came up with last night. And I spelled it kind of funny, so let's see if I can get it out there. I have noticed that the more successful Republican business owners and voters become, meaning their business is doing well, the more meek they become, the more they fear losing stuff instead of standing up and doing the right thing. How will you put yourself in front of the hard issues?
Sure. I mean, it's difficult. Nobody wants to get criticized or scrutinized or risk losing business, but I think you need to have the backbone and the confidence in yourself, and that means having all of the information. And this comes to mind when I get asked about oil and gas and whether I support oil and gas, and I do. And I tell people it's because of jobs, and my husband worked in the industry, and we all need to feed our families, and that doesn't always go over well with certain groups of people, but I'm not going to lie to people. That's my answer, and if you're going to vote for me, I don't want to do a switcheroo at the end and say, haha, got you. That's how I feel about things. So
Yeah, we can't complain that they're paying all the taxes for our schools and then try and kick them out. That just doesn't make sense to me. And, you know, we're going to have the cars we have and the things that we have for quite a long time.
Yep.
So I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Kristin.
yeah, thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Have a great day.
Thank
See ya.
you.